So, how do you sleep in a van when it's really hot outside? Well, let me show you. Okay, as you guys can see, here's my bed. I don't sleep on it when it gets to be over 100 degrees because it's probably like 1,000 degrees in the van. And normally if I'm at a place where it's like safe, like, Bureau of Land Management land or a friend's house, I can just open my back doors that are right next to my bed and the side doors and let a lot of air through. But lately, because of my job and circumstances, I've been having to camp in places, well, where they're safe during the daytime. I don't really feel safe keeping my doors and things like that open at night. And as you can tell, these windows do not open. So I just keep my front windows cracked and my fans going. But what I do is, if you can see this piece of fabric here, it's not really a piece of fabric. It's a hammock. And so what I have here is this big, huge hammock. And I got it because it's double capacity because I don't know, I just like overkill and safety. I don't weigh that much, but I would like to have something that's safe. So I got a 2-person hammock. And what I do is, I don't know if you can see, is there's places in my van where like the metal has like a pocket and a notch. I didn't do this. This was already like this when I got the van, and I'm just using it to my advantage. You might have stuff like this in your van, or maybe you can put in D-rings or D-hooks, but that's my cell phone booster. But what I do is I just kind of scoot it out of the way, and then I make sure that this hook is securely in this notch and it's not going anywhere. And I don't even have to really worry about my curtain rods because it doesn't even hardly move them. It doesn't disturb them. And, and then I do the same thing down here on the other side. And it's got a similar situation. You could probably see that one better. The notch is smaller, but it still works. The only downside to it is I've been scratching some of the paint off, but oh well, it doesn't matter. Nobody really notices anyway. And one important thing that you need to notice about this is my hammock doesn't go from front to back parallel. It goes diagonal, and there's a very important reason for that. Anybody who's ever slept in a hammock knows that if you do not sleep in your hammock diagonal in the hammock, you're going to get wrapped up like a burrito and you're not going to be very comfortable, and it might even hurt your back. So what you're supposed to do is try to either sleep in it completely crossways or diagonal crossways. And that's important in a van too, because you've only got so much space. And so if I string this hammock to where it just goes from back to the front, then I'm not going to have enough room this way to be diagonal, if that makes any sense. My head is going to hit, where my stove is probably, and then my feet are going to be all crunched up over here. But because I have my hammock strung diagonally inside of my van, now I have all of this room from basically my bed, because my head just touches my bed when I'm in my hammock, and it goes my feet can come all the way over here almost to the garbage can. Okay, that's how much space I have. So it's literally like I'm in the air, but I'm sleeping, this way, from back to front, I guess you would call it, in my van. Now, because I have my hammock strung up diagonal. That's very important for you guys to realize, that if you are stringing a hammock up in your vehicle, especially a van or something that has enough room, you want to make sure that you have enough space to do it, first of all. And then secondly, you want to make sure that you do it on the diagonal, so to whatever open space that you have, if that makes sense. And the reason why I'm sleeping in a hammock right now is, as you can see, it's fabric, and so it breathes. And I get a lot of airflow above and below my body. And so when I have the fans going, I can stay pretty cool. If I was to sleep on my bed, then I would get pretty dang hot. Because the only airflow I would be getting is on top of my body, and the underneath of my body wouldn't be getting very much air. But see, as you can see, that's how I string the hammock up, and it's almost perfect. It's almost like the perfect bend in it. I could have it to where it would be a little bit tighter, because then sometimes my butt almost, like I can feel the floor under my butt sometimes. So this could have like a lot less slack in it and still be okay. But as far as it goes so far, it's actually pretty good. And I've been doing this the last couple of summers. It's just on the nights when it's really, really, really hot and oppressive and gross, I just sleep in my hammock. I think it works out pretty good. Now, sleeping in a hammock is not for everybody. In fact, when I first started doing it, it wasn't quite comfortable. It took a lot to get used to, and I had to learn how to do it right, believe it or not. Like I say, everybody thinks that they're supposed to basically sleep in it so that you look like you're in a burrito or a banana. That's not the way you sleep in a hammock, believe it or not. It's very counterintuitive. There are websites and YouTube tutorials on how to sleep in a hammock and how to buy a hammock. I'm no means an expert. I found a lot of good, interesting videos out there from anywhere from backpackers to just people who just love hammocks, and some people sleep in them in their homes. It's actually for probably thousands of years, people have been sleeping in hammocks, and that's their only bed, especially if they live in subtropical places where it's hot and humid all the time. It works out great. And speaking of the humidity, it's been pretty bad here. Like today, it's supposed to get up to like 108 degrees, if not higher, and it's pretty humid. We've had clouds and cloud cover and things like that. Plus, it's been smoky, so it's been just pretty nasty all around. And so my hammock has been, a lifesaver. But really, believe it or not, even though it is like a fabric, it doesn't breathe quite enough for this humidity, and I sometimes feel like I'm sticking to it. So I have on order a mesh camping hammock. And it's supposed to be a lot more breathable and supposed to be nice to sleep in, and it's got a lot of good reviews, especially from people who live down south in like the hot humid weather. People that live in Louisiana and places like that, they wrote in reviews saying that the hammock that I'm looking at is pretty good. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I just haven't gotten it in my mailbox yet. I just ordered it yesterday because I realized the night before that my hammock, it's nice, while it's nice and all, and it's still cooler than my bed. I'm still, pretty hot and sweaty in it. So I thought maybe something that's more breathable would work out better. But you have all kinds of different ones to choose from, and they're all beautiful. And if this works out, I'm also, doing this as an experiment, because if this works out, and then what I'm going to do for my next rig is probably just exclusively sleep in a hammock if I like it, because then there's no bed to build, and I can just tuck away all my bedding. But then there's this whole sleep system thing that I'm going to have to work out, where I'm going to have a wintertime hammock and a quilt, and then possibly a summertime hammock. Or if it gets really, really cold, I'm going to have to set up a way to where I could sleep on the floor, just to keep my body insulated from the cold, because hammocks do not insulate you from the cold. They are meant to be slept in the summertime, in tropical weather. There are, like I say, people that do sleep in them in the wintertime, but they have an underquilt and insulation and all that kind of stuff. And even then, after a while, it's probably not the best thing, like depending on how cold it gets. So it just depends. But yeah, I basically, when you live in a van and you're not chasing 70 degrees like I would like to do, you're gonna have to have like basically seasonal bedding as well. It's not just lighter blankets, but it's basically a different kind of bed. And like I say, airflow is very important, and it keeps your body cool while you're asleep at night. And I'm telling you, I'm not getting very good sleep, but I probably would sleep even less if I was in my bed. I'm still not quite used to sleeping in a hammock because I only do it in the summertime, but at least I'm not totally sweating my butt off and feeling extremely miserable. At least when I wake up, it's mostly because I'm, sleeping in something I'm not used to. It's not because I'm so hot that I think I'm going to die. But that being said, like I said, I think that I should have even a cooler hammock than what I have now. So I do have one on order. So hopefully when it comes, I can show it to you guys. And if I like it, I will put a link to it for because I bought it off of Amazon. But if I don't like it, I'm not going to recommend it to you guys. But this one that I have now, I mean, I only paid $12 for it, and I got it off of eBay, and I don't remember the link because it's been over a year. I don't have any way of telling you guys where to get it, but just, you know, go online, look it up on Amazon or eBay, just type in hammock or two-person hammock, and a lot of really good ones come up because a lot of times they make them out of parachute material. That's what this one's made out of, and it's very strong and durable, and it should last a long time, especially if you're not using it outside in the sun. I'm sure, you know, it'll last for years to come. And the great thing about it too, any kind of hammock, is if you want to, you can, when you're camping out at a campground or someplace like that where it's allowed, you can put it in trees and sleep in it outside. I plan to take mine on backpacking trips someday too. That's another reason why I purchased a hammock in the first place, because I would like to try hammock camping someday. I think it would be really fun. And so yeah, that's a good thing to have, is something that's, you know, I don't know, versatile, and something you can use for just more than one purpose, especially when you live in a small space. So there you have it, guys. That's how I sleep at night when it gets really, really hot. I do spray myself down with water. I get my pajamas wet, and, you know, and put the fans on me, so that helps to cool me off as well. But you can't always like do that while you're sound asleep. So having something like a hammock that's breathable and keeps you from, you know, I don't know, at least having one side of you too covered up, is something that I think is very valuable in any kind of situation. And you just never know when you could possibly use a hammock. So, and they're light, they don't take up that much room, and so I figure it's worth the hassle of having one in your van, even if you only just use it outside for fun. And they make great chairs too. I mean, they're very comfortable to sit in, you know, when you just want to relax and kind of lounge around too. That's another thing I use it for as well. I basically, a lot of times I'll just set it up and that will be my couch. So yeah, if I feel lazy and I just want to kind of recline and just kind of just chill, it's great. I'll do it inside or outside, just depending on my situation. So anyway, I hope you guys got something useful out of this. I hope it maybe gave you some ideas. I do know that some people have been asking, you know, how I'm doing staying cool in my van at night. I know that some people have been, you know, asking why people don't use hammocks in their vans, and I am one of the people that do. It's just not my full-time bed, but it is definitely in the summertime when it gets really, really warm like it is right now. It is my bed of choice for the summer. So yeah, guys, if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe and all that good YouTube stuff, and check my descriptions for all kinds of goodies. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. All right, thank you guys. Bye.